If somebody cannot tell what you mean. Also be aware of how your microphone works and adjust it when you need to, when there's too many plosives, too many pops. So people need to be able to hear you. They need to be able to understand. Things get fun when we start talking about emotion. But knowing that you're not only bringing something to life, but the person who is sitting in the audience, they haven't had the chance to read the script. The only time they can tell any of the words that were written down in the carefully plotted by the writer is how well you can get it out. So you need to have I believe, three prime keys. So emotion, how it's said, diction, if it's clear. If I cannot tell, unless you're not supposed to understand it, we've all heard characters that are like, you're getting what's supposed to be conveyed. If that's what you're supposed to be doing. If we're not supposed to understand the person they do that, that's fine. But if we are supposed to understand it, especially if the next character responds to the first character and clearly they could hear it, and as the audience we're like, and timing, pacing, and interplay between characters. So I kind of feel they're important in this order. There's kind of a neat thing with emotion. So a really neat concept that I feel about emotion. We process how something is said faster and with more weight than what's being said. The part that hears how someone says something is very active. It's kind of is there a saber-toothed tiger attacking me? I need to be able to react at a gut emotional level. Where if someone's talking about, I can memorize pi out to 317, and here it is, then you're like, okay, I'm kind of paying attention. But you're thinking about it, you're parsing it. It needs to go through something. The emotion doesn't need to be parsed at all, or it's done so quickly we don't even see it. So thinking about what someone says versus how they say it. So if I were to say, oh my God, I just got the news, I got cancer! So you're immediately thinking, oh, he's going to give me good news. Oh, this is going to be fun. Wait, what? That part takes our intellect. We have to think about it. But how you say something. So you could have exactly the same script, exactly the same words. We're getting dangerously close to that volunteer moment. All right? So everybody ready? Everybody race? Okay. How something is said. Now, if I do it the other way, God. I can't believe it. I just went and I picked the numbers and they came up and I won the lottery. I've got $12 million. Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with you? But we kind of brace it. Music works this way. If you hear something upbeat, it elevates your mood before you even think about it. Unless you absolutely hate the Macarena, you're going to be like, oh. Before you even think about it. And the words kick in and you're like, no idea what the hell's going on here. Right. So I'll need my first volunteer. Okay, come on down. So neat thing is, when someone's volunteering, generally does anybody here like NASCAR? Okay, good. Because my comparison here is, I'm sure NASCAR is incredibly fun for the person doing it, not so much for the people watching it. You guys get to be the director. You guys get to be the writer. You guys get to do all that stuff. You get to listen to them. Or blow them off. Right? But everybody is going to be involved. So, I don't have a stand, unfortunately, I'm looking for one. But here's a microphone.
Hello.
No. All right. So, what we need is a line. So, put the writer's hats on. And introduce yourself. What is your name?
I am Philip Hunt. Oh.
I didn't hear the diction on that.
Philip Hunt.
Oh, Philip. I heard a plosive in the middle. All right. So, you brought in Philip as your voice actor. Who's like, I am multi-talented. I can do anything.
Hello.
Did you hear that? Oh, I need 5 minutes. That was very exciting. But you've got that, I can do anything, direct me. What is my script? So we're going to need a couple lines, we'll vote on them. that could be taken many different ways. Now, this is not an 18 plus panel. Just want you to
I
keep
am
that.
not 18 plus.
Also, know your actor. Come on. Come up with a line that could be. Yes.
How about, this is so sad, Alexa, play Despacito.
This is so sad. Alexa, play Despacito.
All right. So anybody got a second line? Yeah. Wait.
You know I had to do it to him.
You know it. Very good.
You know I had to do it to him.
All right. So wait. One last one. Here's up first. Hold it. There will be more. Yes.
You're already dead.
You're already dead.
All
All right. Okay, so we've got a couple of different ideas. Which one do we want to play with? Which of the three lines do we like the most?
I mean, they're all means.
Yep. Doesn't matter. Our audience, we know our audience. They're gonna like this stuff. Second one? The second one? All right, to move on. So, what was the second one again? The writer says it.
You know I had to do it to him.
Okay? So, if I were to just show you that script, what would your first question be? This is the...
What is the it that I did?
Oh, it could be. All right? What we're looking for is how. You could say that happy, you could say that sad, you could say that confused, you could say that whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, writer, but we need a little more direction. So now the director needs to step in, having made the decision, how should this be said? Give me an emotion. Or, more accurately, give Philip an emotion. What? Regret. Try that. Try the line with that.
You know, I had to do it to him.
Could you feel that was regret? Okay. Can you tell me, scientifically speaking, how to construct the pronunciation of a line to draw regret out?
Ouch.
If you can, we're switching places. No, okay. It's hard. We don't think that way, right? So I don't say, on the third syllable, could you elongate that slightly, raise it, and then end with a falling pitch at the end? Could you do that?
Sure.
Well, you're a better liar than me. I'd be like, wait, I'm sorry, I lost you after you can you. So a lot of times, if you're the director, one of the things that you could do is following the director. We'll get into method acting in a second. Following the director. I'm sorry, I don't understand. As a human being, I'm used to communicating with people, and I just kind of convey the emotion I'm feeling. But acting is the art of faking something somebody else would be feeling naturally. You have to, on purpose, consciously, say, I must now perform this with regret, which I'm not feeling right now, because I love my job. And you gave us pizza for coming over to your house and recording today. I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling regretful for agreeing to recording this.
Very good. So, give him how you want the line to sound. How would that line sound with regret? And then you mirror what he says. You're the director. You're saying, I can't explain it, so I'll just do it and you do what I do. Yeah, there you go. Okay, go off of that. See, that was natural.
I had to do it to him.
Sound a little bit better?
Yeah.
Now, we would have a very, very hard time describing why something sounds one emotion, right? Oh, that had a rising pitch on this syllable. We don't work that way. There's thousands of little subtleties in a performance. So, to help you out, how about we talk about method acting a little bit? So you're familiar with method acting?
The concept?
The concept, yes. That's
Well,
regret, by the way.
it's like, getting yourself into the head of the character you're playing.
Yes. If you are feeling, if you put yourself in the same space, then it just comes out naturally, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we get somebody to feel, and the emotion we're looking for now is regret. We could change that to anger or whatever. We want to play with something else. That's fine. Does anybody else want to change it from regret, or do we like playing with regret?
Regret's hard for him, so it's excellent.
They don't like you very much, do they?
That's my mom.
Yeah.
She knows you very
I know
well.
stage regret when I hear it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Now,
So the weather we're having today.
from a method acting point, though, all of that's actually very useful, very helpful. Okay. So how would you get? Is there something you can think of? And it's okay if anything, if that's too personal, can I do something else? That's fine. Don't feel pressured to do anything. But is there anything you can think of, like when I felt regret, that you are comfortable sharing with the audience?
Right now, I'm kind of regretting to coming up here,
Okay.
but I'm gonna follow through with it because, you know, I had to do it to myself.
All right. So how about we start with you're just telling me a little bit of the story that has regret in it. Like, you know, I came here, I was expecting a lot of fun, and then I got called up, and man, that wasn't the right thing to do, and then when you feel that now you're in the right tone, when it feels real to you, switch into saying the line. Could be in the middle of the sentence, you get to the end of it, don't worry about it being great, you know, it's being a lot to cover, so we'll go quickly.
So I came here because I got a message from my mom saying that she and my brother were in this room. So I was like, what's going on here? And she said, oh, it's the voice acting thing. So I came down and, you know, I just had to do it to them.
Did you guys feel that? Yes. Okay, not quite there. I mean, you guys are the directors, I'm just the assistant director. A little overacted to me, a little trying too hard, because you're on stage, which sucks, right? Like, everyone's staring at you and all that. But that felt a little bit more real, right? Because you're saying the story. So let's not keep them going until we have it perfect. But when we get another volunteer up, we'll let you go. Okay?
Can I choose the second volunteer?
Fair enough.
All right.
Who was mean to me?
You. Yes.
All right, come on down. Great, thank you. Hey, round of applause. Hey, awesome. All right, let's play with a different emotion for you. Are you an adult?
No, I'm not an adult.
He's got the button that proves it. Ta-da. Okay, so you proposed a line earlier, thinking, ha ha ha, I'm in the comfort of down here. I'm not going to have to say this. What was the line that you suggested?
You're already dead.
Something like that. I had a problem with diction there.
お前はもう死ぬ.
All right, fair enough. In English.
You're already dead.
There we go. So, could that be said funny? Could that be said sad? Could that be said indifferent?
Indifferent.
Serious.
I
Sarcastic.
don't know how I feel about indifferent. I don't know. That's okay.
Gleeful.
Bored. Bored.
That was sarcasm. There's a lot of different ways that can be said, right? As the director, you get to tell him what to do. So, all right? What do you want? Give me an emotion.
Bored.
Bored. Okay. Now I know that's going to be really hard because you're intensely entertained right now. I see what you did there. Okay. Anybody want to give any other thoughts? We go with bored. Okay. Which is a bit of a dichotomy from what the line is, right? All right. So come on here in the middle. Remember, you were performing for them.
You are already dead.
How would you describe that emotion? Forgetting, bored, or whatever it is. You just heard that. You're an audience, you're sitting there. What do you feel this guy's going through?
Discomfort.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You convey things with your tone. We know whether or not you are currently being chased by a dragon. Chances are no. Otherwise, man, are you cool. Any other thoughts for another emotion? Okay.
It was just kind of very matter of fact and.
So as the director, now I haven't quite figured out how, but how do we intensely convey boredom?
Very monotone, maybe? Like having very monotone.
It's got to sound like the character's bored, not the actor. Which is so subtle, it's hard to get that across, but so she was suggesting monotone, which is a technique thing. So try that again with a little more. You know what she means by monotone?
Unfortunately not.
Like kind of more flat. Like instead of you're already dead. That has a lot of changing in pitch. It would be you are already dead. Like the same tone. Give that a try.
You are already dead.
I felt a little more creepy than Gordon did. Now when the director goes like, oh, I like that take, you can change your mind. My board, I said that so that you would say that. I'm clever, meant to do that. Should we like that?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody give him another emotion. Something with more energy, more oomph. That's easier to play with. Anger. Give us anger. Same line, anger. And I want you to listen as to whether or not you feel that was anger. You are already dead. That have a slightly different implication. The one was a little more active, the other a little more passive. Okay, how do we know that that was anger? Growling.
Aggression.
Energy level.
Low
right, all those
voice.
things. And were you thinking of all those things as you were carefully constructing that voice?
Definitely not.
You just, I'm going to sound angry. So, a couple other ways of doing that. So, let's go back to method acting for a second. Can you think of something that made you angry? Again, if you're uncomfortable sharing, that's fine. Do something else, bud.
Yes, I can.
Okay, apparently it's a humorous angry from the look on your face, but... Okay.
More or less.
Right, so I want you to do two things. Have that in your mind, and then try the line again. You guys listen to the tone, see what you think of it. And then I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about the story outside and then break into it the same way that Philip did. Is that cool?
I think I know what you want.
Okay.
You're already dead.
Now tell us a little bit about the story that got you mad, and when you feel like you're there, launch into the line.
I was playing in the Smash tournament here last year, and my friend was cheering for the wrong character. You're already dead to me.
That feel a little bit more real. A little bit less rehearsed, but a little bit more real. Cool. And a lot of that is because when we say, okay, now do this, we're telling you to perform. We're telling you to do something artificial. But when you get yourself warmed up into a space and then it comes out, it's more believable because it is more real. Did you feel more or less emotion? And just when you're like, I'm just doing it. That's the art of this. But then when you dig deep into a thing that pissed you off, that feel better. So if you're having a little trouble getting the emotion out, try method acting. So next one I want to try with you is following the director. So I'm going to be the director. And wait, what's the line again? This is your opportunity to change it.
You're already dead.
We're sticking with you're already dead? All right. I'm not sure what emotion that I need from this. I'm not sure. So we're going to try a couple different ones. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So I'm just going to try a couple different things. You sound them. You just bounce back to me what I'm saying. Okay. Ready? All right. You're already dead.
You're already dead.
Say it. You're already dead.
You're already dead.
You're already dead?
You're already dead?
You're already dead.
You're already dead.
You're already dead?
You're already dead?
Okay, now every time I did one, did you sit there and think, you are using this emotion and using this and this structure, and that you just naturally follow what someone's doing, right?
Yes.
So did everyone feel that we were both doing the same emotion? But mathematically, isn't it ridiculously complex what I did and him not being in the space, not knowing which emotion I was going to fire at him, was able to bounce it right back to me because it's very subconscious. If you can tap in to the subconscious part of the acting, this becomes easier and it becomes more real, more believable. Anybody want to try a different emotion?
Sad.
Sad?
Yeah.
All right, so let's try bounce off. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible director. I'm not very good with my emotions. but I'm really stupid, so I'm going to have you just repeat after me.
Sure.
Because I'm also arrogant.
Fair enough.
I'm thinking of a specific person, but I'm not going to go there. Okay. All right. You're already dead.
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 So I was trying to use a couple of different things. Notice I was doing a little bit of like a hiccup or so to kind of get me into the tone, and he picked up on that. So doing exactly what somebody else does only works if they're doing a good job. Otherwise, you're asked to copy what someone's doing, but do it better because they're terrible. So sometimes following the director is not the right thing. But playing off of characters and warm-up lines are really, really helpful. So normally people don't just have a line in the middle of space, right? They're interacting with somebody else, right? So his line is, "You're already dead." And I love this line because of my next question. What is it that I say that causes him to say that to me?
I'm gonna kill you.
I feel happy. I feel happy. I'm going to kill you. Which one do we like better?
I feel happy.
I feel happy. Okay. So I'm going to do a different emotion, but you need to play off me. Now, a lot of times people will be recorded at different days, different times. Nowadays, different time zones, etc., etc. So it's I feel happy. Just I feel happy. Give me an emotion.
Happiness.
Really happy?
Not sad.
There we go. That's.
You're a sad happy.
I am a sad happy panda. Okay, now what emotion does he have?
Nope, never.
So you're already dead.
Indifference?
Indifference. Okay, so I am sad that I'm happy, and he's indifferent that I should be dead.
Yeah.
I need to write this down.
You're having fun.
So happy. I'm so happy.
You're already dead.
Do you feel that? There was a pause between them, right? And both of us still felt, I think, a little artificial. Let's close in the gap a little bit. And you play off my emotion instead of you're like, well, you're doing something and I'm doing something separate. You play off what I'm saying. So I'm so happy.
You're already dead.
I'm so happy.
You're already dead.
I'm so happy.
You're already dead.
So could you feel that it was starting to sound like he was responding to what I was saying? His tone was being affected, not the same way, but if you and I were just having a chat, your tone would naturally respond to the person that you're talking to. So if you, a really good thing to do too, observe, watch people. This is kind of creepy, do it from afar, but watch people. If you see two people talking, start thinking, how's their body language? What's their tone? Is the one of one tone, the other tone, stuff like that. You'll learn so much by watching how people who are just doing this naturally do it, rather than you being, oh crap, now I'm, how do I artificially mimic something that I used to do? It's like Schrodinger's voice acting, when you don't know if it works or not until you look at it.
I felt that before.
Okay. So, sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So the last thing that I want to do with the emotion side is a warm-up line. Lovely thing about being able to record is as long as you give the director a tiny little smidge of blank space, they can cut it. So similar to the getting into tone. Say a warm-up line. Otherwise, you're going from 0 to 60. But if you kind of get up to 55 or so, then you take it from there. Generally, it's easy. So you still have your line?
Yes.
Okay? Different emotion. Oh, annoyed. I like that. Yes.
Triumphant.
They're annoyed and triumphant, and
Disappointed.
Oh, those are all really good. All right.
Disappointed.
Which do you guys want to hear?
All of them.
Very
enough.
disappointed.
Very disappointed. Okay, well, we'll do it. Very disappointed. So, try saying that just 0 to 60. Just go blank. You know, but you're already dead. Try that now. You're already dead. On a scale of 1 to 100. So both of us are like, ah man, no matter how I describe how I want you to, use a rising tone, you're like, I'm sorry, this isn't working for me. All right, try doing a warm-up line. Say something that's going to get you into that space of I am disappointed.
Something.
Oh, that's disappointing. I was expecting a better line. All right, so try something, and then when you feel that tone, when you feel that I'm there, like, can you feel like it almost clicked? You're like, oh, that feels real, and then say the line. But the only artificial thing that I'll ask is make sure there's a slight pause, because if I record the entire thing, I can then just pull that snippet out. It doesn't have to be real. You can just be like, I was really, really hoping to the Kickstarter that I funded. They keep kicking it back, and then when it finally came out, it was supposed to be plastic, but it was cardboard. And
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I had this plushie, it just fell apart in the wash, and it was already dead.
did that feel more real? Obviously, it's still you're not in that space physically, but if you can get your heart partially there, then all of the things that would be super impossible for us to tell you, do this and this and this, and you're like, what the hell? I don't get that. The shortcut is get yourself in that space through one of those different ways, and then let it flow naturally. So a big part of doing voice acting, especially amateur, is relax and make it real, rather than I'm trying to construct it. Because if someone is trying to construct it, what's it going to sound like? Yeah, and that they're acting. And we don't want that.
Garbage.
Yep. If you are sitting there watching something, remember the acting bridges the gap between the script and the audience, and it makes it real. So if you're constantly going, that's a guy in a booth. I feel like that's a guy in a booth. Like, oh, hell, I'm running from a dragon. He's going to eat me. Oh, he just killed my wife. But I actually liked her. It's not that kind of story. I mean, you're just like, whatever. I sure change the channel. But if it's, oh my God, like if it feels real, hopefully that's a sign of a really good actor and not a really mean director. Right? It sounds like, wow, that guy actually sounds like he's screaming for his life. Maybe I should read the news and see if there's anything that happened in Texas. Cool. Thank you. Woo! All right. All right. So, I just want to go over this a little bit here. Skip the bottom. Clearly, I don't know how to cut and paste. So, just a couple of really quick tips. So, if I'm talking and we're just like back and forth and normally as we're talking, we actually slur a bit, but we understand the cadence that our friends speak in, and so it's okay. Problem is, you don't know what I'm about to say. Well, hopefully, I'm not that predictable. So, I have to be much more careful and aware of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. Where if we're just having a casual chat between people, it's okay if we can't quite tell what's being said because we'll get it in the context. But in a script, in a film, especially if somebody is dropping important information, you need to be able to get that. So just a couple of quick tips for how to clear up diction. Does everybody know what plosives are? Plosives? These are bad. It's hard to do with a B, but. So, quick thought with plosives. Puh, 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 puh. Quick thing. Put a pen or even your finger in front. If it's minor, sometimes you can skip that. the sound waves still hit the microphone. Also, no matter where you go, it's not like it's going straight. It's a whole wave that's coming out. Everyone's seen a pop filter? If you don't have a pop filter, which they're not very expensive, like maybe $10 at you go to like a music shop, guitar shop, or something like that. You can get any kind of a screen and nylons. So your mom probably has everything that you need. Yeah, like one of those, like an embroidery hoop or something like that, and just put nylon over it. I don't do it. So some ideas to avoid plosives. It'll sound really, really, really weird, but if you over-enunciate, you're going to say, like, I sound freaking ridiculous. Then you play it back, you're like, whoa, that sounded normal. So if I'm having a problem and I'm just kind of slurring my words, it's like, So if I'm having a problem and I'm slurring my words, to me, that sounds terrible. Like I'm overdoing the mouth motions, but it will force you to be more aware of what you're saying. You're in danger of dropping back and sounding a little wooden, so you gotta, practice it a little bit. But if you see that you're doing that, don't be afraid to overdo it in the physical. That generally doesn't affect the emotion. So, oh my God, you're already dead, is, oh my God, you're already dead. If you're not, Jericho, you could start sounding like William Shatner. But it can get past a tricky word or two. And again, with warm-ups, the one we were doing before was just do a line and just follow off of that. Well, in This Is Otakudom, I had a character whose voice was basically, with this incredible, like that kind of thing. I found it very hard to go from, hi, I'm Marty, I'm a filmmaker, to, with this incredible wig, I couldn't quite do it and make it sound right. So I screamed into the microphone for 5 or 6 minutes. Now this is about 2 o'clock in the morning in my house where there was no air conditioning, because if we turned the air conditioning on, the microphone would have picked it up. And we had to close the windows because I have neighbors. So I'm standing there like, at the top of my lungs, like, and then of course the director, who's both a friend of mine and a dick, is telling, it's a, nope, not quite enough, nope, I need you to go lower. I'm like, but sure enough, what happens? At that point, I'm like, give me, right? With this incredible wig, I, a Super Saiyan Hentai Trunks, will rule the cosplay! Because I didn't have any hesitancy whatsoever after being totally pissed off for 5 or 6 minutes. And you know what? That's all that counts. That's all that counts. You get the one take, you're good. And then you can kill them and say, oh, you're already dead. All right, full circle. All right, so hopefully there's some happy ideas there. Things can sound very, very artificial if you have two characters talking and they are not responding to each other in a natural way. So can I have another volunteer? Sure, come on down. You're first. I go with this first thing. Yes, you here. She's practicing. You're practicing your regret voice, right? All right. Are you excited?
Yeah, they have a...
Take the microphone.
I'm excited.
All right. And you are? Whatever you want them to know. It's your fake actor name. That's the director. But it's not porn, so you can use your real name.
Yeah.
What is your
Abby. It's Abby.
All right. So everyone, that's Abby. I'm Scott. When you're yelling at one of the two of us, just say our name. So we need a line for Abby and then a line for me, or give us a situation. We can kind of improv off of that. Yes?
This is kind of a long line, but
Uh-oh.
it's from like the way end of one of my favorite games. What matters isn't whether or not you can see the future. It's the will to make a choice and seize your destiny.
Holy crap! Can we shorten that? Give us a, because we're going to riff it back and forth quickly.
Well, that, you could just shorten it to what matters isn't whether or not you can see the future.
Got that?
Whether or not you can see the future.
What matters?
What matters is whether or not you can see the future.
Let's go with that, right? That's fine. Okay? So say that. Say that. We'll get an emotion in a minute. Just like you're talking to me. You are speaking to me. I am in the same room. The reason I'm way over here is not because I'm afraid of you, but we're going to start with this. So tell me that. Tell me what.
What matters whether or not you can change the future.
Sometimes actors will rewrite lines, but if it's better, that's okay. We run with it. But you're already dead. And you say, just say the same line again. No, I didn't tell you what to do. Don't worry about it. Just say the same line again. We'll try that again. But with that long pause, that sounded retarded.
You would say yours dead.
I'll say it after your life. You just say your life. Say your life. Okay?
What matters is whether or not you can change the future.
But you're already dead. Pretty sizable pause between the two lines, right? What did that sound like? What was going through your minds when there was a big pause? Anyone have an opinion? Yes?
It sounded kind of like we were on a battlefield, just kind of at each other.
I like your optimism. You assume that we're fighting for our lives rather than we suck as actors. I like that.
Well, it sounded like you were attempting to try to process what was just said.
So that pause, I'm reacting, but I'm giving a moment's thought to it. All right, so let's go with that. And we're on a battlefield. Both. I like that. Because we're awesome. We just killed like thousands of orcs or something like that. All right, so now we're going to try this. I'll warn you, I'm going to be a little closer, both physically and in time. But
What matters is whether or not you can change the future.
but you're already dead. I have a different feel. There was less time thinking in between, right? So now it's almost a direct reaction. All right, try a line again.
What mattered is whether or not you can change the
But
future.
you're already dead.
That was almost like interrupting.
Well, I was interrupting. That's why it was almost like it. So close, I can't tell the difference. But what does that imply? Same words. Same exact words. How does it feel that I went over your line? Well, it might hurt you. You're like, let me finish, will you please? Right, it's conversation, but doesn't it add a lot of intent? I'm being impatient. I'm frustrated. Whatever it is, let's change up the emotion. So, an emotion, round up. Yep. Happiness. All right, you're happy and I am.
Thank you.
I'm going to take this raising your hand, but I know it wasn't. Angry? Happy? Angry? All right, let's do it again. Start from far away.
What matters is whether or not you can change the future.
But you're already dead.
That's good.
What matters is whether or not you can change the future.
But you're already dead.
What matters is whether or not you can change the future.
But you're already dead. Almost exactly the same, but because of that, timing between can change the interaction, can change the intent. And if it's too long, you're going to get bored and change the channel. Don't go to like 7 minutes. That's really bad. But so your feelings, reaction to what I'm saying, but did you feel any different knowing that was getting shorter and shorter? Were you changing up the way that you were saying it? In theory, you shouldn't, because your part doesn't change. But in reality, did you feel your tone? I could hear it. You feel your tone change because you have an expectation, and that colors what you're about to say, even though you're not doing it on purpose.
Yes.
Cool. So, more applause. Gracias. All right. Try not to get everything. So we're up to like some fun tips and things. Only got about 4 minutes left, so I want to give everybody a couple of things to do. If you're doing an accent or something like that, unless it's supposed to be really bad, I suggest don't listen to other people doing the accent. Do not learn how to do a Sean Connery voice by watching SCTV or Saturday Night Live or something like that. That is not how that is. Get an iPod, listen to somebody over and over and over and over and over again, because most of the time when you're hearing somebody doing an impression of someone, they're just picking a couple of very specific lines that that character is known for. You are going to be taking a script that's written and doing it in that character's tone. Just listen to what they're saying and repeat that over and over and over and over and over again. I really, really like having a receding line. So that is, if I'm standing and I'm a LARPer, so I have a whole bunch of different voices with different accents, but I kind of have to remind myself who I am. If I'm playing my Japanese character and I'm standing around a whole bunch of gypsies, very quickly I turn Italian. It's really frustrating. But something like a Scottish accent, what I do is I pick a word or a phrase that when you say it, it gets you right back in. I'm standing in front of a microphone, I can just say that line over and over and over again. Ah, there's the voice, and go. If you're just doing a one-liner or a one-shot, that's fine. But if you're playing a character you're going to be brought back to do over and over and over again, you need to be able to get back into that character. For a Scottish accent, my receding line is haggis. And it goes like this. Oh, I'm trying to be Scottish. I'm trying to be Scottish. Wait, how does Scottish sound? How's it? Hold on. Haggis! Oh, now it's Greek! So you start having things like that, yes?
Can you say the onion line in that voice?
The onion line?
Oh,
right. Because they're layers? I don't remember it actually that well, but I probably could. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Apparently, the answer to the question is no. No, I cannot. But if I had to, well, I want to move on quickly because we're almost out of time. So I just want to give people just a couple of tips with that. So I picked this up from actually Chris Ayers. So kind of, full circle. Everyone who has not, please sign the Get Well card if you haven't heard that. He is rather terminally ill right now, but could pull out of it. And getting, you couldn't be here and we miss you and here's hundreds of people wishing you well would be awesome. That's down at the registration. So please sign that if you have not. So, one thing that Chris said is, if you're getting punched, it's like my segues. If you're getting punched and you were trying to make that sound effect, what most people do is, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, which doesn't really sound that bad. However, it lacks impact. If you are not the type of person who wants someone punching you while voice acting, if you do your thing, not mine, try this. Go up on your toes, fall down on your heels. Listen to the difference here. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. That's much more believable. You come down and as soon as your heel hits, it throws a shock up through your body, comes through your lungs and your diaphragm, and comes out. So I just want to give that. I've got a whole lot more, of course, but it's 10 up, so we got to clear out for the next audience. Thank you so much for coming. If anybody wants to chat about this stuff afterwards, please grab me. I love talking about this. We're doing the Helsing Abridged block at 6 o'clock and at 9:30 if you're 18 and older, doing the hentai game show. Thank you so much for coming.